What is happening, Bigger Pockets? It's Matt Faircloth. Here's the deal. I don't own any short-term rentals. I don't own any Airbnbs. I don't own any vacation homes that I get leased out to other people or anything like that. But I've researched it quite a bit. I've been exposed to it, and I know a lot of people that do, and I know a good bit about that market, even though I don't own. So full disclosure, I do not own short-term rentals and Airbnbs, but I did leave it out of the last conversation. I know a lot of folks on Bigger Pockets and a lot of folks that watch our YouTube channel do own those properties, and so I wanted to take care of you guys and cover that conversation just so we can discuss what Matt's thoughts are on how the future of Airbnb and short-term rentals are. So let's get into the conversation. Let's talk about what a short-term rental is. All joking aside, that want a little more clarity on what I'm talking about today, that's STR, short-term rental. What that is up until the advent of short-term rentals, when you rented something, you would typically rent it for a longer period of time, like a year. I'm gonna rent this apartment for a year, or I'm going to rent this office space for several years, whatever it is. The timing on the lease contract was a long period of time, but it doesn't always have to be. There's nothing in the law that says that leases have to be for a year or more. When you use a hotel, you're signing a contract. You're going to use that hotel room for a certain period of time. You're going to use it for what the use was intended for. If you look at it, it's actually like a lease contract. The hotels have been offering rented space for very short periods of time for probably thousands of years. And in some ways, hotels were one of the first rentals that were out there. So hotels really were the first short-term rentals that are there. Airbnb made this a big phenomenon, which made people say, okay, I have access to a lot of different options. I could rent a room in somebody's house, like a true B&B, like a bed and breakfast. So I could do that, or I could rent an entire home, a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, rent it for a day or two. That's all it is just a rental of real estate for a very, very short period of time. My correlation of Airbnbs to hotels has to do with the biggest reason why Airbnbs on the short term are gonna have a short-term effect. So let's talk about short and long. Okay, the short-term effects of Airbnbs are very similar to the short-term effects of hotels. Not many people are traveling, so travel is down, because of COVID and because folks are a little concerned about getting out there and, catching an infection or something like that, or being around other people during social distancing. Travel's down. It's yet to be seen when travel is going to pick back up. Today's June, so people are thinking that it's going to start opening back up soon. People are already getting out and about, but who knows if it's going to stay on for a longer period of time. And I can tell you, all of America is not going to be okay just jumping out and traveling all of a sudden. So travel is going to be down for a while, even if things start to open back up. So Airbnbs aren't going to just snap back because travel is going to be a little bit less. People are going to be taking less vacations, less business trips, less all of it. And a lot of those things, business trips, vacations, all of that, consume Airbnbs for where they want to stay, especially if a family is traveling. They're great for families or for larger groups of people traveling. But you're not going to see as much of that because of COVID. Because of people's skeeviness, because of COVID, you're going to see less travel and definitely less family traveling, and a lot of families that are traveling are going to be consuming Airbnbs when they do. This is, again, Matt's theory. There are folks that have cleanliness concerns, okay? Now, to me, what is the difference in the cleanliness of a hotel versus the cleanliness of an Airbnb? But I've heard people say this, that there is a perception of cleanliness in Airbnbs. Now, a lot of them are scrubbed down and really nice, and you can defend Airbnbs all you want in the comments, but there is a mental perception of some people that if you're worried about the spread of COVID or worried about sanitization, you might want to stay in a corporately managed property. And I'd be willing to bet you're going to see these guys, hotels, start pushing back in there. Oh, well, our hotel rooms are 100% sanitized every time and they're sterilized by COVID approved. Just watch. They will start to become, there already is COVID approved cleaning services and COVID level cleaning on properties. I've already had people market this to me with postcards. The biggest one out here is regulation. Okay, so let's think about government regulation on properties. Currently, there are towns that will not allow you to have an Airbnb. Before COVID, right? They were saying, nope, we don't want your short-term rental in our area. We think that it attracts too many problems. And if you guys look online, there's some knuckleheads out there that will go and rent an Airbnb and cause trouble. But you're going to see more towns come out and say that you can't do it because of COVID stuff, they're going to tighten up. And in some states, like I'm standing here in New Jersey, short-term rentals in general have been banned. I believe you can't rent anything for less than a week. So government regulations is going to be a short-term slowdown of COVID. Airbnbs are going to take a hit because of these things. Even if some people start traveling, it's not going to go back to pre-COVID numbers anytime soon. So what do? You got two choices. Choice number one is, and this is if you were arbitraging, Okay, and what arbitrage means is you've got landlord A, who's the owner of the property, and they lease the property to person B. Person B is the one running the arbitrage, and person B says, okay, I will lease this property from you for $1,000 a month. And what I'm gonna do, and you have to disclose this to the landlord, I am going to short-term rent your property. And so they say, okay, great, you can do that, and you put it in the contract that I'm gonna make money above what your rent is. I'll pay the utilities, and I'm gonna put furniture in your unit, and I'm gonna have people stay in your property, different person every night. That's what it's gonna be. And so I take that property that I'm renting $1,000 for, I make some investments in, sprucing it up, nice furniture, and I'm gonna take it, I'm gonna rent it out for, $100 a night to folks that wanna come to the local area. Well, if I can get, 20 people to rent that property from me for $100 a night, that works out to be $2,000 a month. Hey, I did pretty good. I made $1,000 minus utilities, minus handling fees, minus Airbnb fees, because these guys gotta get paid and all that. So that's called arbitrage, meaning I took this, someone else's property, and I'm subletting it to other people. Just a sublet. Now, if you're arbitraging and you're facing this and your rents are way down, easiest way to do it is to exit. To exit the property, someone would say cut and run. If this is gonna last for at least another 6 months, so the softness of the Airbnb markets, you either gotta decide, what do you got? You're subletting somebody else's property, so you might be better off just exiting from the contract and reopening a contract with somebody else when things get a little bit better, so you could just exit. Now you get to do that with integrity. Call the owner, say, listen, I got a problem. My business is down. This isn't working, and I want to, exit our contract, and maybe I can call you back and re-up it at some other point. If it's like a great property in a great location, and you don't want to let that contract go, then you could try and get someone to pay you a slight spread. Okay, so you could also still sublet long term. You could sublet it long. You could do that just to hold your position in the property. That's possible. So that's a sublet long. Those are your two choices if you're arbitraging the property. I don't recommend that you just disappear and bounce on the owner, because that's just not good business. Call the owner, work out a deal, let them know that this isn't working and you want to try something different, or you could sublet long and get somebody else in there to take it for a longer period of time. Option two is this is if you own the property. This is what you want to do. And there are people that Airbnb that bought real estate. A lot of times these are folks that own vacation homes that maybe, hey, I want to Airbnb it for 11 months out of the year so I can go with my family and use it for 1 month out of the year. Here are some outs that you got to get through the softness that Airbnb may feel right now. And this is like especially true if your town is, if you're facing either government regulations or if you're facing issues on lease longevity, meaning like somebody saying you can't lease for a day or two. If people are saying you gotta lease for longer than a week, then what you do is you go and negotiate with a semi-long contract. So you go and get like a nurse or a business traveler or somebody that's in town for a little bit that's longer than a day or two. You go and find a longer term user of the property. If you own, try nurse contracts, try business, travelers, okay? So you find someone who needs a short-term furnished rental. These are different ways to bridge. You're going to take a ding on income because traveling nurses or someone looking to rent a furnished house for a month or two, they're not going to pay you anywhere near what you were making on Airbnb, which is why I didn't offer up these solutions up here on Arbitrage. You arbitragers can do this stuff too, but it's going to drop your revenue. These are strategies to keep your boat afloat, just to keep your expenses going, to keep your property up until these things work their way out of the system. You might just have to give up the Airbnb game for a year or so to just lease it until we weather the storm and you get somebody that's able to pay you. Now, if you can cash flow that way or at least break even, that may be something you need to consider doing, and that's just simply long-term lease. You have a lot of choices, but I don't think that just trying to force a square peg into a round hole and trying to make Airbnb continue to work is a good idea. I think you need to pivot right now. This is not going to go away, and Airbnb is not going to just snap back and come back. That was all the bad news. Here's the good news. Airbnb is here to stay. Airbnb and short-term rentals is, I believe, a major transition into be how America is going to start using housing. There's been a concept of that you either need to own a home or you need to lease one on a year contract. We're starting to move towards a society where people start to just use things. Instead of buying a case of soda, just give me one soda, I don't want the whole year worth of contracts. Just let me use it for a week. Let me use it for a month. Let me use it for a day. I think that once we get through this, those that own Airbnbs and those that own short-term rentals are going to be big winners. People are going to be able to start working from home that have digital jobs or online jobs. What's to say they can't travel while they work? You're going to see short-term use contracts on office space. It already is. This is WeWork, right? But you're going to see more of those types of things evolve. You're going to see more shared office spaces. You're going to see more companies use commercial real estate differently. They're going to start using it. Maybe, again, this is a big idea. Maybe companies just come in and have meetings in their office space and they go back to working from home on other days, right? Maybe they use spaces differently with regards to just coming into a physical office one day. This company uses that physical office on Monday, and on Tuesday, a different company uses it. Again, this is all big think, but short-term use contracts are here to stay. Airbnb is the one that started it, but you're going to see it extrapolate into other industries and other types of businesses as we grow and as America changes the way we do a lot of things, okay? So long-term, those of you guys that have developed models around Airbnb, whether that's arbitrage, ownership, whatever it is, you guys are going to be great. You're not going to be good, you're going to be great because you're on the curve. You're on the curve of as America changes. This COVID thing, this is like a drastic change in your business. I get it. I feel for you. Once you get through this, I think the sky's the limit in that. And there are also ways to mitigate this about developing cleanliness protocol. If you can meet COVID standards or if you can meet standardization and sterilization standards on your rental property or on your Airbnb, market that. So that's what I got, guys. Please argue with me. Tell me I'm wrong, or tell me I'm right, and tell me some things I forgot. Whatever it is, I don't care. I just want great conversation that we can bring the real estate industry forward and keep conversing with each other. I'm really not about being right on this thing. I just want to generate good conversation. This is a lot of my opinion on it, but I'd love to hear what yours is. So leave it in the comment bar, whether you're watching this on YouTube or on Bigger Pockets. Thank you guys for watching, and have a great and profitable week. Thanks for watching, guys. Here's a few other videos you guys might like if you like that one. And if you like what we do here, smash the subscribe button. We want to have you guys as part of our community. Speaking of community, we've got a great community you guys should check out called Derosa Insiders. Just text the word Derosa to 66866. You'll get a bunch of free stuff, and you'll also get an option to join Insiders and see us over there. Thanks, guys.